guys, this is Alex with Patterns for Pirates. Today on the blog I'm talking to you about shearing, which is basically a method to make woven non-stretch fabric have elasticity to it. So I figured besides giving you my basic tips for shearing easily with your sewing machine, I wanted to make a video to show you how to do that, because some of us are more visual. What you would need first and foremost, obviously, for shearing would be a sewing machine and elastic thread. I've tried many brands. I am a fan of the Gutermann elastic thread. I heard the Hobby Lobby one is also very good. I haven't tried it. I don't have a Hobby Lobby that close. I would stay away from the Dritz one. But again, try it, maybe your machine's like that. So I'm using Gutermann. This is elastic thread. It stretches. You find it in the elastic aisle. And I like to hand wind my bobbins with elastic thread. So simply pull your thread through the little hole of your bobbin. Hold it with 2 fingers. And then I hand wind my elastic thread on it, making sure that I don't leave the thread too loose, but I don't stretch it all the way. So find a medium ground to when you hand wind your bobbin. First and foremost, my biggest recommendation as far as winding goes, make sure you wind at least 3-4 bobbins of the same color. I can tell you that with the Gutermann one, you can get about 2 bobbins with one thread. It goes really fast. The thread it's used very fast, so I would say have at least 3-4 bobbins for a child garment. If you're doing like an adult one, have more bobbins ready, unless you're gonna stop and hand wind throughout your project. I would say do them beforehand. I've already wound one of them earlier, so this is my second one. So I'm getting, like I said, 2 from one spool of elastic thread. I'm just clipping the top here that I have, and I use this to hold it in place, the little covers. Okay, so that's it for the winding. I've sewn a bodice already, just like it's advised in the patterns. It's a front and a back. And now, as per patterns, usually you put an elastic casing and thread some elastic in the back bodice. Now we're gonna be shearing the back bodice instead. Obviously, my top doesn't have straps. Yours would likely have straps already sewn in. I just made it like a shortcut for the video. So you would have straps already in here. This is the bodice, and this is all ready. Now, as far as setting up your machine goes, I use a regular sewing machine, regular needles for that. What you would need to do, first of all, change your bobbin thread to the elastic bobbin that you just winded. I'm gonna try to see if I can show you how I do this. Okay, like this, because if you've never set your machine for elastic thread, this is an important step you would need to do. So grab your elastic thread and grab your elastic thread, set your machine like you normally would, And see, I'm doing it all the way here. And now I'm hand winding the machine. Hold on, let me pull a little bit more. I'm grabbing my upper thread. I'm doing one turn by hand, and then I'm pulling the elastic thread with my fingers. This way, the elastic thread will come out right here. Because you don't want to start see, it's right under here, and I'm manually pulling it out. You don't want to start your machine like you normally would, because sometimes the thread will not catch the elastic thread. So for best results, do that manually. This is what I did, and then pull your elastic thread out. Leave a pretty long tail. Another reason why this will be you will be using a lot of elastic thread when you shear. All right, so we have that done. Now the next thing you want to do is your machine settings. Obviously, all machines will have various settings that they prefer. So what I would highly recommend trying on a scrap fabric what settings your machine likes. I know mine because I've done a lot of shearing on it. First of all, remove the thread cutter. You do not want to thread cut with it, because you would have to do the same thing we just did, pulling the bobbin thread every time you thread cut it. So remove that altogether. You will cut it with your scissors, so there's plenty of elastic thread left outside of the bobbin. Then put your stitch to the highest length and put your tension to the highest tension. Well, a quarter of an inch from the top. This is the way I do it. Start regular rows of shearing with the settings that we've done. Thread. At least quarter of an inch. The closer your rows of shearings are, the tighter your elasticity would be. If you put them like half an inch or more apart, it won't shrink as much. So at least a quarter of an inch, if not less, rows of shearing apart from the I like to use my back stitch. Rows of shearing. What you can hear is at the beginning and back stitch at the end. Just do not cut your thread with the thread cutter. You will cut your head and starting with about manually. See, it's not cutting like it normally would. Up my needle, and I like to pull my thread and cut it so it leaves enough tail here that I don't have to hand wind the bobbin again. If you do forget and you cut it, you will just have to repeat the steps we've done before. I'm gonna go ahead and continue my rows of shearing. Close to each other. In the meantime, while you're shearing, make sure that you have your iron set on the highest steam and full with water, because another essential part of shearing, of a good shearing, is steaming your fabric as soon as you finish shearing it. You will see how magically it shrinks just from the steam. Use your machine, guys, to keep a constant distance from one row of shearing to another. I'm doing a size 2 back bodies. I'm shearing a size 2 back bodies, and I'll have, I want to say, about 15 rows, maybe 10. So obviously, if you have a size 14 bodies or a women's size, you will be doing this for quite a while. but it is a nice alternative to elastic threading, and I find shearing to be preferred by some kids with sensory issues. It's softer on the back. I am shearing two layers of fabrics at the same time. This way I have not altered the pattern in any way, shape, or form. I did my construction exactly as per the pattern. Personally, I prefer shearing the back bodice to be only one layer instead of having a lining, just one layer, but it will modify the way you put together your pattern. But if you're comfortable enough doing that, go ahead and do that. You will obviously need to hem the top of the back bodice since there won't be any lining. But I find shearing to be even easier if it's only one layer. Again, personal preference. Right now I'm shearing 2 layers of fabric, so the results that I'm showing you are for 2 layers of fabric. Keep doing these rows at least 1/4 of an inch apart until you get to the bottom of the back bodice, but don't go all the way to the bottom because you will need 1/2 inch to attach the skirt. So stop a little over 1/2 inch. Let's say 5/8 of an inch away from the bottom bodice of the bodice. Right now I'm about a little over halfway, so I'm gonna be stopping after probably 3-4 more rows. If you find that it's not tight enough, the shearing, you would want it even tighter, what you can do is go ahead and add extra rows of shearing in between. Let's say you've done them 1/4 of an inch apart, like I am right now. You can definitely go ahead and do more rows in between them, like 1/8 of an inch away. And you'll see that it will tighten it even more. So I have about 3 more rows, and then I'm going to show you how to finish it and how to steam it. It is super easy. It's a time-consuming process, but it's not hard at all. I know there's a few machines that are not taking to shearing as nicely as others. I've never had a problem with this one, so I understand that maybe I have it easy. But do try various settings. I've seen people using the longest length but not changing the tension. Try that if you see that the maximum tension is not acceptable by your machine. Also, change your thread. Mine loves Gutermann thread. Maybe yours will prefer the Hobby Lobby one. Suology, I think it's called. The Hobby Lobby one. I'm gonna do one last row and then I'll show you how it looks right now, and we'll do some steaming, and that was it. It's not difficult. Oh, and my thread just finished, so I'm probably gonna see my bobbin thread just finished. So I'm probably gonna stop right here then. I wanna say, yeah, about 3/4 of an inch away from the bottom, from the raw edge of the body, so it's fine. Okay, this is how it looks right now. Obviously we'll need to cut those threads. Make sure you don't cut your back stitching because you don't want this to get so we cut those threads. Now I'm moving to the other part. Again, cut your extra threads on both sides. This is the back. This will be the front. The front has a somewhat matching thread to the fabric. And I'm cutting the excess thread. Yes, again, do not use the thread cutter unless you want to to pull the bobbin manually every time. Okay, so this is our bodice right now. As you can see, it is definitely tighter than it was before, but it's not as tight as we would love it to be, right? So take your bodice to the to your iron. Unfortunately, my good one has decided not to heat up, so I'm going to use my cheap iron, but it does the trick just as well. All right, so it's now all heat up. I think it's still heated, full of water, and you just watch the magic happen. So right now this is the width of the back of the fabric. I like to start steaming on the back. Just press here, put your machine on top of that and give it a good facial, and you will see with how fast it and how easy it all gathers. Look, amazing, right? And I'm gonna do the same thing on the front. If you find that this is not enough, it's not tight enough, although you can see how tight it became. If you find that this is still not tight enough for your project, you can definitely go and add more rows of shearing in between these. But for now, it looks amazing. And this is with 2 layers of fabric. The more steam you give, the more it will tighten. So what I wanted to show you before I end the video is if you could see this on the inside of the fabric. What I like to do is usually I like to enclose my back bodice in the front bodice. But again, that will change the way you put together the pattern. So if you're comfortable doing that, go ahead and shear first and then enclose your the ends in your front bodice side or in the side seam. So this is my bodice, front and back. Super cute, super comfortable. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.